I am Russ Jaffe. I'm a fellow of the American Society for Clinical Pathology. I'm a fellow of the American College of Nutrition. I'm a scientific fellow of the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. I maintain fellow status in the Federation of Clinical Immunology Societies. And I'm a fellow of the American Medical Laboratory Immunologists and an overseas fellow of the Royal Society of Medicine. I'm a fellow of the Health Studies Collegium, and I am founder and director of ELISA Act Biotechnologies and PERQUE. And it's my privilege to provide you tonight's Ask Dr. Jaffe. And tonight the overview from the Health Studies Collegium is that we rethink health. We rethink health with physiology first. And so taking physiology first in rethinking health, we want to restore competences. We want to restore a variety of competences. We want to restore immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive and detoxification abilities. So the competences we want to restore are immune, neurohormonal, digestive, and detoxification. And I'll be describing the last 3 decades of our work in enhancing outcomes and in applying evidence in a clinically relevant way. One point to be made or emphasized is that we want to digest, assimilate, and eliminate. We want to take in and let go. We want to take in the good stuff and let go of the bad stuff. And since you become the product of what you eat and drink, what you think and do, paraphrasing both Hippocrates and Huang Ti, the nominal parents of Occidental and Oriental medicine, let your food be your medicine, and your medicine be your food. That was updated and paraphrased by none others than Nikola Tesla and Thomas Alva Edison. And we quite agree that based on the evidence from the National Institutes of Health that 92% of the quality of your life, 92% of your health, 92% of how you function is determined by the choices you make in what you eat and drink, what you think and do. So indeed, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Now, what does that mean in more practice in regard to digesting, assimilating, and eliminating in a timely way? Well, we have a goal. The goal is to restore, maintain, or enhance immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competence. And we do that with 4 constituents. The first one is to determine clients' status via health assessment questionnaire, the HAQ, which can be done online or on paper. The second, our LRA by ELISA Act test to find hidden allergens. The third, our personal PERQUE supplementation programs. This is personalized medicine at its finest. The fourth, our alkaline diets that save lives. And that healing through the alkaline way is based on the fact that we become what we eat and drink, what we think and do. Now, while 92% of your health is based on eating what you can digest, assimilate, and eliminate within healthy homeostasis or healthy self-rebalancing, within healthy immune tolerance, the PERQUE WellGuard program has principles, and we would invite you to a webinar at the address on the bottom, www.perque.com/portfolio equals the-well-guard-program-part-01, and you'll be introduced to the PERQUE WellGuard program. But let me just give you some overview and some headlines. We want to be able to digest, assimilate, and eliminate. Our goal is to restore immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competence. And you can do that with a health assessment questionnaire, an HAQ, either online, filled in online, scored by our smart system, or filled in on paper and scored by our smart people and then interpreted by our smart algorithm-driven computer system. And our proprietary health assessment questionnaire helps personalize and individualize, helps make real the opportunity of applied evidence. We want to be able to digest, assimilate, and eliminate. We want to have the goal of restoring immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competence. This means LRA by ELISA Act tests that find hidden allergens. There are many different kinds or flavors of hidden or delayed or occult allergens. We need to be able to distinguish healthy, tolerant immune responses from unhealthy, reactive responses. For that, we need a functional test. The LRA by ELISA Act is becoming the gold standard of such tests to find hidden allergens. Type 2, 3, and 4 reactions are the ones that we concurrently measure using the LRA by ELISA Act system. Now, in regard to immune system links to chronic illnesses, if you've lost tolerance, if you've become a hospitable host to foreign burdens that provoke symptoms from acidosis, from extra metabolic acids and immune complexes that induce acid reactions, antioxidant depletion so that oxidative stress becomes more burdensome, hampered detoxification, retaining more bad stuff, not getting the good stuff in fast enough to get the bad stuff out. In this situation, repair is deferred. Repair can be deferred for a long time in this situation. Repair is deferred because defense must come first. So we deal with the defense of our body first. And if digestive remnants or if breathing are bringing in reactive, delayed allergenic stimuli, antigens that react in the body to which we're not tolerant, repair will be deferred, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, months, or years, and then autoimmune diseases emerge. LRA by ELISA Act tests identify individual, personalized, epigenetic. Isn't that nice that we have a functional test that we've been doing for decades, but that gives us a window of insight into epigenetic causes of immune overload? Now, one question that commonly comes up is, doesn't everyone react to something? If you measure a lot of things, well, doesn't everybody react to something? Well, no. Healthy people do not. And we've only found a few really asymptomatic and healthy people who are willing to be tested. And when we have tested them, they have reacted to essentially nothing, because healthy people do not have a basis for hypersensitivity. So healthy people are allergy-free, their immune systems are resilient, they repair and defend efficiently, they neutralize infections and allergens that come in, they repair us from daily damage and wear and tear, they delete cancer cells. The immune system is responsible for identifying, tagging, and eliminating cancer cells that form every day. Healthy people's white blood cells recycle pathogens. Healthy people's white blood cells can take in 50 foreign invader pathogens, break them down to building blocks, and out of the lysosome comes the building blocks from which the cell builds itself back up. So healthy people's white cell recycle pathogens. They're not hospitable to them. Now, what, if anything, does loss of immune tolerance mean? Well, loss of tolerance means loss of immune balance. Loss of tolerance really means loss of homeostasis, or the ability to bring yourself back into balance. So loss of tolerance in the immune system is a big deal. The hospitable host is overwhelmed by foreign reactive antigens. Whether they be infectious or non-infectious, they are equally foreign, and equally foreign to the IDRS, or immune defense and repair system. Now, according to Gell and Coombs, way back in 1963, there were 4 kinds of allergies. Type 1, or immediate acute allergens, histaminic and amplified. But then there were these interesting, occult, these mystery, these delayed allergies. Types 2, which are antibody-based. Type 3, immune complex-based. And type 4, cell-mediated T-cell-based responses. We've updated this work in our articles in Journal of Management Development. You'll see references to these on the bottom of a number of slides. These are systems-oriented approaches to the application of the science that we're describing tonight. Now, questions often come up about the signs of delayed immune disorders. The signs of delayed immune disorders include muscle aches and inflammation, the kinds of chronic musculoskeletal aches and pains that are so common in fibromyalgia and other delayed immune disorders, joint pains, the arthritides of a variety of stripes and flavors, respiratory conditions, digestive problems like ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, and regional enteritis. Skin rashes, but particularly eczema and psoriasis. Migraine headaches, dizziness of unexplained origin, depression of unexplained origin. Weight management, where cyclic weight gain is actually a sign of longer transit time. When you have a healthy transit time of 12 to 18 hours, you may have maybe 5 to 8 pounds of digestive fecal matter in your intestines. If your digestive transit time doubles, you've just doubled the amount of fecal matter. And if it goes from 1 day to 2 days, you just quadrupled the weight of the fecal matter that your intestines are burdened by. They would like to get back to a healthier, shorter transit time, and you can do that by following this approach to health and well-being. So sinus infections and infections wherever they occur are signs of a loss of tolerance, signs of chronic immune dysfunction, signs of the immune system not being resilient, and that's what we want to address. Now, if you ask me what illnesses occur in the different types of immune reactions, look at the type 2, IgA, IgM, and IgG triggered autoimmune diseases. Look at the type 3 immune complex triggered diseases. Look at the type 4 T-cell activated immune complexes. You can read as well as I can. There are a host of chronic and very common conditions afflicting 100 or more million Americans that are considered to be chronic, degenerative, and autoimmune, self-attacking, and autoimmune. These are all the ones for which LRA by ELISA Act tests are appropriate, and we recommend ELISA Act LRA tests to you in order to get at all three pathways functionally and concurrently, ex vivo, and in functional ways. Now, allergy tests. LRA by ELISA Act tests win on a number of technical grounds. First, how about accuracy? Well, LRA by ELISA Act tests have less than 3% variance on split samples done by different technicians on different days, and that's better than any other immunology test and as good as any clinical laboratory procedure. LRA by ELISA Act tests are functional. They are a true cell culture. They measure directly, not indirectly. They measure precisely and not imprecisely. LRA by ELISA Act tests are comprehensive. There are more tests items that can be tested by the LRA by ELISA Act system, and we measure more accurately more of the immune system than any other functional test. LRA by ELISA Act tests also are proven in community-based, randomized, controlled trials. CBRCTs, community-based, randomized but controlled trials, with multiple successes, multiple proven outcomes, multiple statistical significances on just a few dozen people. LRA by ELISA Act tests are better because the treatment plan compares each of your clients with a 50,000 plus case database using a proprietary algorithm that helps to improve successful clinical outcomes. So LRA by ELISA Act tests win on accuracy, on functionality, on comprehensiveness, on proven outcomes, on treatment plans, and on successful clinical bases all the way. Now, delayed allergy tests are different. There are static and confusing tests. These are the IgG, ELISA IgG, EIA IgG, IgG4. These are static. They don't tell you function. They don't tell you whether it's good or bad, helpful or harmful. They're confusing. And then there are size particle counters. These methods are a kind of automated cytotoxic test. They measure any particle at 10 microns, and frankly, there are many things at 10 microns that have nothing to do with the immune system. This is not an immune system test. It's a particle counter. Then there are complement fixation and immune complex tests, such as the Raji cell test, an excellent test, but it only measures immune complexes. We think you need to measure delayed but reactive antibodies and immune complexes and T-cell responses, all in a concurrent system. That's the lymphocyte response assay. LRA by ELISA Act, validated in outcome studies, validated in the best clinical control, and validated in the series of articles that we had invited by the Journal of Management Development, cited at the bottom of the slide. Now, delayed allergies. The cells really tell the tale. So if you want to measure delayed allergies, you have to do a cell-based assay. And the reason you need to look at the cells is because the symptoms, the signs of delayed allergies, occur hours to weeks after exposure. Schwarzman reactions, Arthus reactions, serum sickness reactions. These can occur hours, days, or weeks after the stimulus, and that's why you need something like LRA by ELISA ACT tests to get an accurate, predictive, and clinically reliable measure. There are 3 types of delayed allergies. You need something that's comprehensive across all 3 systems. Now, antibody tests are static. The common IgG tests are confusing. The functional tests are more predictive. We recommend LRA by ELISA ACT. You may want to use ELISA or other LMRA like colony formation or thymidine incorporation. But to get the most information in the most advanced technology, LRA by ELISA ACT tests to measure all delayed pathways concurrently. Now, when the technicians do an LRA by ELISA ACT test, they see what you're looking at on the screen now. On the left, non-reactive. On the right, the reactive cells. The results are clear between non-reactive and reactive. On the left, you see what we can sometimes call starry night. On the right, you see very clear cells that stand out because their glycocalyx is activated and the rim of cytoplasm has been pushed away. So when the technicians look, the non-reactive and reactive cells are very different. That's part of why the assay is so predictive. It averages the results of many thousands and thousands of cells in order to give you the most clinically meaningful results. Now, what about test categories, and what about the tests that can be measured? Well, on a simple 1 ounce 30 cc blood sample, we can do maybe 490 LRA ex vivo tests, 490 cell cultures if you request. Measuring foods, additives, and preservatives more than anyone else in the country. Environmental chemicals more than anyone else in the country. Toxic minerals, medications, mold, danders, hair and feathers, herbs more than anyone else in the country. So you can get more tests on a smaller sample using LRA by ELISA ACT, accurate but amplified results than any other approach. In terms of personalized care, we want to be able to digest, assimilate, and eliminate. We have the goal to restore immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competence. We want to know each individual's PERQUE supplementation program needs. So we want to use above professional grade nutritionals that are scientifically proven, using all actives, using a unique set of delivery systems, novel tabsules, novel micellized soft gels, novel mucosal uptake, novel approaches that enhance both efficacy, how effective, and safety of the supplements. Rethinking every product, every category, every time for safer, more effective, more predictive results. Technology, unique. Formulation, unique. Third-party post-production tests, always done on every batch all the time, unique. Testing before and after. Outcome studies to clinically prove efficacy and availability. Clinical experience available to the service of your practice. Unique, unique, unique. Why? Well, because PERQUE Integrative Health wants you to be able to deliver solutions so that we can help people suffer less and feel better. Here you see a slide, a personalized PERQUE supplement program to include essential available nutrients, the PERQUE Detox Kit, which includes 4 core products, and then some supplemental products like the PERQUE LifeGuard Multi-Tabsules, the PERQUE WayGuard and WayGuard Repair Meals, the PERQUE Mag Plus Guard and PERQUE Choline Citrate Buffer Enhancements, and other forms of PERQUE potency that are not available in the Detox Kit are available to you at PERQUE Integrative Health, online at perque.com. So we do look at needs that are unmet by others, and we fill needs that others cannot address. If you want to digest, assimilate, and eliminate, your goal is to restore immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competence. You want to alkalinize the person by alkalinizing what they consume. An alkalinized diet saves lives. Healing through the alkaline way is due to the fact that we become the product of what we eat and drink, think and do. So eat what you can digest, assimilate and eliminate within healthy homeostasis, within healthy self-correction, within healthy balance, and immune tolerance. So at the Health Studies Collegium, we have for many years looked at the alkaline way to sustainable good health, to evoke human healing responses. And at the Health Studies Collegium, we have done basic and applied science, we have done the policy implications, and we are confident that we can feel and function much better the alkaline way by evoking human healing responses. Now, the alkaline way is smart, it's contemporary, it's up to the minute. It's a physiology-first approach. It's a physiology-first approach because we want to deal with early oxidative stress that might have severe impact on lifespan, on how long you live and the quality of your life. Those with improved capacity to recover from early oxidative stress have significant advantages later in life. Let me say that again. Those with improved capacity to recover from early oxidative stress by having enough of the antioxidants needed at the times they are needed have significant advantages later in life. And another comment that underscores and reinforces, if you will, the correctness of what we've been saying for decades. This is an article from PLOS1, a very important online journal, 2009. Tsumiyami and colleagues says, the defect in immune system, the cause of autoimmunity, is systemic autoimmunity appears to be the inevitable consequence of overstimulating the host immune system by repeated immunization with antigen to the levels that surpass the system's self-organized criticality. So in other words, if you don't digest your foods properly, they can come back as delayed allergens in the body if they get across the 5 protective mechanisms, because the body becomes depleted over time, and then they can stimulate autoimmunity just by the presence of digestive remnants that are immunoreactive. Now, this is something we've been saying since the mid-'80s. I am pleased to learn that distinguished colleagues are now publishing their own independent confirmations of the hypothesis that we've been carrying for these years. To alkalinize saves lives. There is a food and chemical effects on acid-alkaline body chemical balance. You want the majority of what people eat to be on the left side of the chart. You want that to be about 2/3 in the healthy state and about 3/4 or more in the recovery state. The remainder, the small condiment size, can be from the right. That is what we've made staples of in the American diet. There's also the Joy of Food, the Alkaline Way Guide. This is available both digitally and physically to reinforce the messages and to clarify the opportunities. And then there are the self-tests, like do you have net acid excess, as you see in the right-hand lower corner, the pH paper that is high sensitivity and high contrast to allow such measurements to be meaningfully done. Now, first in the morning, after 6 or more hours of rest, the urine pH is equilibrated with the cells that line the bladder and kidneys, and so the morning urine pH after rest is a good measure of whether you're in the middle healthy zone or whether you're on either side and therefore at risk. The middle healthy zone is 6.5 to 7.5. That's the green zone on the paper, and that's the healthy repair restore zone. That's the zone we want you to be in. If your pH is below 6.5, if on the paper it's yellow and on the screen it's blue, you have excess acid that wears you out. If the pH is more than 7.5, if the pH is more than 7.5 consistently, that's blue on the paper and orange on this slide. Catabolic illness tears you down. So we want you to be in the middle. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be in the green zone, not the acid zone, not the ammonia wasting catabolic zone. We want you to be in the middle, healthy, repair and restore zone. That's the urine pH 6.5 to 7.5 first in the morning. Now, there are a variety of questions that have come in, and I am very glad to be able to address these, including the following. What information is there on cross-reactivities and autoimmune diseases In other words, if you get sensitized to cow dairy in childhood, are you more likely to get diabetes? And the answer is statistically yes, but I can't tell you who. And children who are weaned from breastfeeding too early or do not have full maturation of their guts are more subject to food digestive autoimmune disease illnesses. So there is a statistical connection between cow's dairy and the subsequent development of diabetes. We're much more personalized, we're much more individualized. We want to know if you as an individual react against cow dairy, and then you should substitute that. But if you react against anything that the LRA by ELISA Act test can identify, you should substitute while resetting towards tolerance immune responses, as well as digestive detoxification and neurohormonal systems. Then the question becomes, can you estimate the percentage of hypersensitivities identified by the LRA test that are fixed, and where one is not likely to regain tolerance? And if so, why does this occur? Well, a lot of doctors are taught in their training, once allergic, always allergic, and once we get allergic, we're always allergic, and so you can only suppress the symptoms, and I don't know why that came, because there is no evidence. It is widely held, but there's no evidence for that. What we do know is this: when you clean up the diet, when you substitute for the delayed allergens, when you enhance the competence of the whole foods, when you improve the nutritional density of the diet, when you take the supplements that correct the deficiencies that have occurred over years, when you do mindfulness exercises as well as physical stretching and exercises, that you can restore digestive and detoxification, neurohormonal as well as immune competences. You can restore immune tolerance. You can restore neurohormonal balance. You can restore digestive and detoxification competence. So fixed allergens are so rare that I couldn't even put a percentage on it. In our experience, almost all of these delayed hypersensitivities are acquired due to maldigestion. They are not intrinsic. You're not born with them. You do not have them for life. They are not fixed. They are adaptive. They are due to maldigestion. And so I really don't know the percentage, but it would be very, very, very small that somehow are due to what would be called fixed or genetic allergies, which are so rare that we don't see them very much at all. What's the minimum age for a child to have LRA by ELISA Act testing? And the answer there is about 9 months of age. After you're weaned, you can be tested. We do recommend, however, testing mom or mom and dad first and applying that information to the child. And if in 6 months the child is not doing very, very well, we'll repeat the test for just the cost of shipment, no additional cost for the test itself, and then you can apply the new information to the child. We do very often find that children are not very different than their parents, at least not in early childhood, and so we recommend testing mom or mom and dad, applying that information to the child. And if in 6 months the child is not thriving, we're happy to repeat the test on the child for just the cost of shipment, no cost for the test, so that we can do a good job. Now, what about LRA tests and inhibition? What about influence of certain medications on the accuracy of the LRA by ELISA Act tests? Well, there is an immunosuppressive medicine called cyclosporin. Cyclosporin is commonly used. Cyclosporin inhibits downstream immune reactions, not upstream immune reactions, does not interfere with the LRA by ELISA Act test. You do not have to discontinue cyclosporin in order to do an LRA by ELISA Act test. You do have to avoid steroids for 4 days. We have a steroid bridge to help you with that. You do have to avoid antihistamine medicines like things to dry up your nose. You have to avoid antihistamine H2 blockers, as well as avoid aspirin for 2 days before the test. We have lots of information in our client services group to help with that. You do not, however, have to avoid medicines that are downstream inhibitors of immune reaction. You only have to avoid the upstream inhibitors of immune reactions. Now, what about vitamin D and calcium? The question is 50 to 80 nanograms per ml the optimum range for 25-hydroxy-D vitamin D serum level in the Western populations? Yes. Is it apropos for serum levels of just under 50 for native African populations as shown in recent research? No. A healthy African American should have a 50 to 80 vitamin D level. The misunderstanding is due to a combination of factors, and these are myriad, as they usually are: misunderstandings of the difference between synthetic D2 and natural D3, misunderstandings of the way in which African American populations deal with vitamin D. But in regard to the physiologic effects, African Americans, from every original science, from talking to experts like Mike Hollick and others, are no different than Asian Americans, than Caucasian Americans, than Native Americans. They are no different with regard to this aspect of their health, and the healthy range for African Americans, for Caucasian Americans, for Native Americans, for Asian Americans, for all Americans, in fact for people who are not American, is the same if you use the same accurate measurement. 50 to 80 nanograms per ml is the optimum average 25-hydroxy-D range for healthier, lower risk populations, and that's what we would recommend to you. Now, what is the optimum calcium intake from supplements and diet? The answer depends on how fast the calcium is removed from the body, how much do you waste in calcium and other minerals. So I don't think there's any dose that's fixed. I know there are numbers like 800 to 1500 milligrams of elemental calcium per day total in the diet plus supplementation. But what I recommend is that you measure the ionized calcium. And when you measure the ionized calcium, you'll know whether the calcium balance for that person is adequate. Not the total calcium, but the ionized calcium. And if you measure the ionized calcium and it's low, increase the calcium through supplementation and diet until it comes back in the healthy range, and you will help that person. So we know the right test is ionized calcium. We don't know what the fixed dose is for every individual, but we do know that biochemical individuality is true. So we want to measure the ionized calcium, and then on a monthly basis, recheck the ionized calcium and increase the amount of calcium plus magnesium and buffering minerals in the diet in order to bring the ionized calcium into a healthy usual range. Now, the PERQUE Lifeguard family of capsules are a rethinking of super multivitamins. They are a rethinking of comprehensive nutrition. They have 40 active nutrients, whereas most multis have 17, 18, 20, 21, or 22. They have so much that in 2 Lifeguard capsules, you have more than an entire bottle of Theragran Advanced, or 1 a day, or Theragran, and there's another one in there. Recently, we have been able to add a triple coating to the fully bioavailable PERQUE Lifeguard family and a drop of natural vanilla to meet your palate. And so we recommend the PERQUE Lifeguard family of tabsules, the classic as well as the PERQUE Lifeguard mini tabsule, and we recommend the PERQUE's lozenge or chewable, and we will extend the family of super multis in the PERQUE Lifeguard family as opportunity permits. There are questions about PERQUE WayGuard and PERQUE WayGuard Repair meals. These are true meals. Notice they have nutrition facts, not supplement facts. The native whey that makes up the protein, 15 grams of native whey, is BGH hormone-free. It's hormone-free, it's BGH-free, it's BGH hormone-free, so that the native whey and all PERQUE products are hormone-free. It's a PERQUE promise that we never add hormones or allow contaminating hormones into any of our products ever. In regard to PERQUE WayGuard and PERQUE WayGuard Repair, the native whey is BGH hormone-free. These are whole meals that we recommend to you, and we recommend them to you in their hormone-free form. Now, when we alkalinize, the measurement is in milli-equivalents, and someone has asked how you compare PERQUE Bone Guard Forte 20, 4 tabsules, with PERQUE Potent C Guard powder, half a teaspoon, in regard to how much alkalinization, or how many milli-equivalents of alkaline does each contribute. And the answer is that when you do all the math, there's twice as much alkaline elements in PERQUE Bone Guard Forte 4 tabsules compared to PERQUE Potent C Guard powder, half teaspoon. And so I'm glad to answer the question. But of course they do very different things, and if you're just focusing on the alkaline milli-equivalents, there's twice as much in 4 tabsules of PERQUE Bone Guard Forte 20 as there is in PERQUE Potent C Guard powder, half teaspoon. But because they do very different things in the body, there are many other benefits that are separate from the milli-equivalents of alkaline that distinguish them, and that's why we have a separate PERQ Bone Guard Forte 20, as well as a PERQ Potent C Guard powder. Now a question has come up about symptoms of vitiligo on the leg. What are the treatment options and possibility of reversal? And interestingly, a world's expert on vitiligo called me recently and said that when people follow the LRA by ELISA Act test program and supplement with PERQ programs, particularly the supplements like PERQ B12 Guard and PERQ Vessel Health Guard, that the symptoms of vitiligo on any part of the body usually and predictably remit. He's in the process of doing research studies. It will take years to publish them. But if you want to be ahead of the research, symptoms of vitiligo on the leg are reversible, often enough that the LRA by ELISA Act test and the program that goes with that are highly recommended. Now what about LRA by ELISA Act tests and migraine headaches? Good question. Here's an individual who had almost daily migraines, 20 days per month with mild to severe migraines. Then the LRA by ELISA Act tests were done. The implementation was to take and eliminate as best as possible all sensitivities. And this helps 4 out of 5 days, but the headaches start up again. Food and exposure diaries are minimally helpful, as they usually are. Egger and colleagues, in their very elegant studies reported in Chalicom and Brostoff's textbook on food allergy and intolerance in their chapter on migraine headaches, pointed out that at least 88% of migraine headaches were definitely triggered by delayed food and allergy mechanisms, and that was testing only, I think, 80 foods. So I would ask 2 questions of this individual. One, is it possible that they're getting exposed to something that's on their list, that if they looked more carefully they would now realize that periodically they're getting exposed to something that's on their no-no list, that's on their LRA by ELISA Act reactive list? And then it's always possible that they're reacting to something in the air, to something in their environment, to something in their situation that's not tested by the LRA by ELISA Act test. But if you remove most of the problems, then you can find the rest by just observation. And so we would recommend following through on the program even more carefully, seeing if a second test in 6 months is more helpful than the first, but also being aware that there are other things that might be triggering headaches that are not being tested by the LRA by ELISA Act test.